Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about the Vinegar Syndrome release, Steel and Lace. This is a really vibrant, interesting cover that seems to catch everyone's eye when they see this release. A bunch of people have written on like Twitter and Facebook and friends of mine and acquaintances how the cover caught their eye and they like it and they wanted to pick up the movie during the 10 for 10 Vinegar Syndrome sale, which is when I got it. So this is a 1991 like science fiction revenge film. I wouldn't call it horror by any means. The movie starts out with a woman, the one on the cover, in court, and she's going against a bunch of guys that beat and raped her. And I'm not spoiling too much because it's the very beginning of the film, but they get off on the charge, and she proceeds. I don't want to say too much, but something happens with her, and she proceeds to get transformed, kind of like RoboCop. They implant or I guess replace body parts with robot parts, and now she is going after the guys that raped her and hurt her one by one, tricking them, wearing masks and disguises and stuff. So they think they're getting with this like woman, and then she like rips off her face, and it's the main character, and she has like drills coming out of her that she spins and murders them with, and I think at one point she stabs someone, if I remember correctly, like in the neck. She does all this crazy stuff to these guys. So think of almost like a less gritty Savage Streets, perhaps, mixed with like at least that kind of rape revenge thing, mixed with like science fiction because she's like a RoboCop type character. So it's pretty strange and interesting. From what I'm explaining, this should really hit all the marks for me, but it doesn't. So I like the movie, but it doesn't reach that echelon where I'm like, wow, this was a really fun film. It's definitely got that B movie cheese, um, and that kind of schlocky, low budget feeling to it. Not like a shot on video or anything. It's definitely more of like a 1990s rental store type of movie. It says here after her attackers are let go, her brother, who's a robotics engineer, uses his skills to transplant her brain, that's what it is, into a human cyborg who has bone crushing strength and built in torture devices. And then she goes out and kills him. So I thought it was her body parts. It's not. Actually, they remove her brain. I forgot about that. It calls it a 90s direct to video horror treasure. I wouldn't really call it horror besides the gore and the graphicness of the murders of her killing these bad guys. It stars Claire Wren from The Young Riders, Bruce Davison from Longtime Companion, which I know who he is, Stacy Heidick from Luther the Geek, and David Naughton from An American Werewolf in London. Was David Naughton the one? No, it was his brother, James Naughton, from Planet of the Apes, the TV show. And I believe Bruce Davison was in, is it Lathway to Heaven? Which was an interesting cyberpunk film. Anyhow, I digress. It is restored in 2K. It has both a 4:3 and a 16:9 aspect ratio you can pick from at the beginning of the film. I believe 4:3 was the original with the bars on the side. The 16:9 sort of stretches it a bit, so I ended up leaving it on 4:3. Commentary tracks, a making of documentary with a bunch of people, composers and directors and co-writers and artists, reversible cover art, English subtitles. Yeah, so it's got a pretty interesting amount of stuff going on here. And again, I like the movie, but it's slow at points. And I also feel like it takes itself so serious in ways when it's such a silly kind of story that it takes away because I expect this to be either goofy and over the top, almost like trauma like, or gory and just violent. And it has some of the gore and the violence, but in between are these slow segments of her getting to know each of the guys and then manipulating them and then murdering them or exacting her revenge. And the revenge parts are cool, and some of the other scenes are cool, but it just seems like it sort of drags at points to where it loses me. I do like the movie, and the end of the film was cool as well. Something happens that I didn't expect. This is the very 90s, I guess, original cover. And then the new cover you saw from the slip cover, which is similar to this, or I guess the same. So, can I recommend Steel and Lace? And it was originally put out by Orion Pictures. I can recommend it only if you're a fan of B-movie science fiction with gore. If you're looking for something, serious that has interesting concepts, or maybe a straight horror film, I would give it a pass. I don't hate it by any means. I just wish that they sort of went in a different direction with the serious tone of the film. So yeah, Steel and Lace was okay. It's something I'll probably revisit, and I may even get more out of on a future watch. I'm going to dedicate this review to my buddy Andy, who ordered this as well, and he promised he would watch this with me, and like an asshole, I forgot that he was going to watch it with me online and stream, talk at the same time through chat. So I watched it myself last night and forgot to clue him in. So shout out to Andy from he changed his YouTube channel name recently. I apologize. I can't. It was Devin Graham, but I don't know if thought he changed it again recently. So, Steel and Lace, a 1990s piece of rental fodder with some interesting ideas, but doesn't exactly hit the mark. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.